Okay, so what we're looking to do here is to grab the rectangle tool and just create a stack of rectangles, okay, that are going to be different colors eventually. Now, just to show you how some of the alignment tools work, or different alignment tools, if we just sort of move these randomly apart from one another, then in order to get those stacked so they're perfectly aligned together, then I'm going to go to the Align panel, which sits alongside the Pathfinder tool. Okay, align everything to the left. Oh, so there's a couple of different options with the Align tools. One is align to the canvas, which is what that just did. So it aligned everything to the left, but it actually aligned it to the left of the canvas as well. So I'll just undo that and show you the different options here. So down here, we've got the options for aligning to the selection or aligning to the artboard. Okay, we align to the artboard or the canvas beforehand. So if we align to selection, it's just going to align them to the left rather than moving them to the left of the canvas. The other one is useful too. And then the next option we're going to use here is the distribute spacing. Okay, except we're going to align to a key object. So we have to select one object and then select the rest, and then we can align it to a key object. Okay, so the important thing there was we selected one and then selected the others, and then we can have 0 inches, i.e. no space between them all, and then they'll all just stack together. Okay, so if we've got shapes that we want to put together and we want to know they're exactly aligned together and we don't trust the smart guides, then we can do that. We can use the Align tools to kind of make sure they're perfectly aligned. Okay, so let's now grab the swatches here and we'll just quickly change these to a bunch of different colors. Okay, and okay, so we've got sort of rainbow of colors here. We can grab these, hold down the Alt key and drag this across here, and this time I'm going to trust the smart guides, maybe. Okay, so now we've got those aligned perfectly together. So I'm going to change the colors on this side so they're not the same. Okay. Okay. And now I'm going to keep one copy of this to the side so that we make a true rip-off of Solder Wit in our piece. So if we look at these center pixels here, I've grabbed the direct selection tool, and essentially what I want to do is grab that, and then I'm holding down Shift and the downward cursor, and it will allow me to adjust those points really easily. Okay, and then to finish off the example we started with, we've got some other colors here that we can extend and drop to the back, and then just pick out some different colors so that we get this nice offset. Okay, so basically the ability, and you can see actually, it looks like there's a gap. Actually, sometimes in Illustrator it looks like there's a gap when there's not a gap, but we'll assume there's no gap there. So basically we've used the ability to select those directly to kind of make adjustments to those shapes. Okay, and we could take it a step further by grabbing one of those and, you know, gradually just stretching out different parts of that to do something a bit different. Okay, you can see we're grabbing the shapes behind as well as we do that. Okay, alright, so you can see we get some interesting effects going on there. So if we take that a step further to the triangles, let's save this to one of our Photoshop compilations here. Oh. Okay, so if we come here now and we'll move this guy out of the way. So you've got two things in Illustrator. You've got the artboard and then the kind of pasteboard around it, which is where you can just shove stuff that you don't need. Okay, so here now I'm going to grab my triangles, okay, and I'm going to make a duplicate of them to a new layer. So I've got layer 1 here. I'm going to grab all these triangles, copy them, make a new layer, and then paste them in place. So edit, paste in place, or shift command or shift control V. Okay, so exactly the same triangles in exactly the same spot. We'll just make a different copy of them. Okay, and that actually miraculously looks like it's snapped right into position. That never happens. There's always normally a bit of tweaking. Okay, so let's move these so they're all on the canvas. So now with this shape, what we want to do is kind of try and randomize this this pattern a little bit. So the problem we've got here is that if we use the direct selection tool and try and grab one of those, then we can't grab all those points in the same spot. Okay, so we're just going to make gaps in our design. So we're going to use this magic tool, which is called the Lasso Tool, which does something completely different to the Lasso Tool in Photoshop, which is that we draw around and just select points. So now we can move these points randomly. Okay, and we can kind of create, I'm sure you must have seen some of these polygonal patterns that are flying around at the moment. They seem to be everywhere. Okay, you can make your own t-shirt for Christmas now. Okay, so we've got two different layers with some randomized patterns, and I can also hold down shift with the lasso tool. So if I want to save some time and move points like together but a little bit randomly, then I can do that too. Okay, I think that should be good enough. And then if we grab this now, go to our layers, I'm just going to turn off that topmost layer, copy those, and I'd want to keep them as separate layers in Photoshop just so I can do different things with them. Jump them back to 100% so I can match them up. Okay. And now where does this go? Alright, so now you can see we've got two layers here, and there are some gaps in there maybe. Yeah, let's just tweak that a little bit. There we go. Alright, so viewing things at 100% sometimes works, but sometimes you need to zoom in a bit further so that you can see those little gaps that might be popping up. Okay, so now if we grab those layers, we can obviously go ahead, we can do things like double clicking in here. We looked at how we added a gradient overlay before, so we can get some interesting linear or radial gradients kind of within our shapes. Okay, you can extend that out. Okay, or we could create new layers above the layers, and I think this is my favorite way of doing it, with a clipping mask on and a customized color, or even a different kind of brush. Start to play around with it a bit more. Okay, so but still with that nice kind of polygonal feel to the design, and we can moderate the amount that we kind of blend that in, or have that texture added onto the layer behind. Okay, we could even duplicate that so that it's applying slightly differently to each of those layers. Okay, any questions about